Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Mike Reviews It All. It's been a while since I did our Mike Reviews the UFC, but I'm really excited about this card, UFC 211. It's actually tomorrow. I'm getting to it a little bit late, but this is probably the best card the UFC has put on in several years. Certainly the best event that the UFC has put on since they sold to WME Entertainment for $4 billion. The undercard on FX starts at 5 p.m. and the main card starts at 7. Buffalo Wild Wings is always a good place to check out the fights. Usually there's several bars in your area. If you live in a populous area, that'll be showing the fight. If not, about $60 will get it, and you can sit on your couch and watch it. If you're going to catch one pay-per-view card this year, I'd say this is it, and it's this Saturday. I'm going to run through the top card and the main card, and the top fight on the undercard. If you just can't get that pay-per-view, if you have FX, tune into that just for this fight, if anything. Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. It's a great matchup. Both these guys have fought the top fighters out there. Dustin Poirier has been on a tear of late. I think Eddie might be getting towards the end of his career, but remember, he was just champion a few fights ago. He lost to Conor McGregor, but almost everyone's lost to Conor McGregor. Dustin Poirier has been on a tear of lately. Odds makers have him a slight favor at -120 to Eddie Alvarez at +110. So it's basically a toss-up fight. Common opponent between the two is, of course, Conor McGregor. Eddie got beat pretty bad by Conor. It was kind of a showcase for Conor. Poirier gave Conor his toughest fight so far in the UFC outside of Nate Diaz. I think Conor was a little better when he fought Eddie and definitely quite a bit more confident. But if you haven't seen that fight, look up Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. It's a great fight. You won't be disappointed. I'm picking Dustin to win this fight. I think he stops Eddie within 3. Going on to the main card. First fight of the main card is Krzysztof Yoko versus David Branch. Krzysztof is the favorite, -150. David Branch comes in at +140. Krzysztof had a first-round knockout 2 fights ago of Tamden McCrory. It's a huge victory for him last June. He's coming off a dominant victory over Talis Lattis in November. The Polish fighter is currently ranked number 9. David Branch hasn't fought in the UFC since 2011 when he was submitted by Rosemar Pujols. Neither of these guys are big finishers over their careers. I got to take Krzysztof just based off a higher level of recent competition and Branch's inactivity. Next fight is a huge fight. Frankie Edgar and Yair Rodriguez. Big fight. Frankie Edgar comes in a slight favorite, -120 to +110. But Rodriguez is coming off a performance of the night, second round knockout over BJ Penn. Ended BJ Penn's career yet again. Before that, he won a split decision over Alex Caceres. Nothing against Alex Caceres. He's not on BJ Penn's level. Don't get me wrong, I really like the kid. He's got a lot of heart. He's really creative. He's a really fun fighter to watch. Don't think he's on the level of a Frankie Edgar, though. Frankie's coming off a convincing win of Jeremy Stevens. Before that, he did lose to Jose Aldo. But right before that, he knocked out Chad Mendes in the first round. I think he's a little too crafty for Rodriguez right now. I think not only does he out-wrestle Rodriguez, I think he outboxes him. I think Rodriguez is possibly a future champion. I don't think he's quite there yet, and I'm not sure if he's in the right weight class. I say Edgar has the answer once again, and I think he takes Yair out in this one. next fight I'm super excited about. Super excited. Jorge Masvidal and Demian Maia. This is a toss-up fight. Masvidal is a slight favorite, -120 to Demian Maia at +110. Masvidal's coming off wins against a who's who of opponents: Ross Pearson, Jake Ellenberger, and Donald Cerrone consecutively. That's quite impressive. Demian Maia, of course, is a submission master like the UFC has never seen. This guy toys with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu masters all over the world. Definitely the top jits guy in MMA right now. He's coming in on a 4-fight win streak over Neil Magny, Gunnar Nelson, Matt Brown, and Carlos Condit. 3 submissions in those 4 fights. Winner of this fight's got to be a true contender for the title. It's very hard for me to call a winner for this fight. If I'm pressed, I would go with Maia, and I'll tell you why. Masvidal's not a huge finish guy. If you look at his career, he doesn't have a high finish rate. And I think if Maia gets him in deep waters, that he can finish him. I take Maia in the 3rd round by submission or by a decision. Going into what I think will be an early candidate for Fight of the Year, Jessica Andrade versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I know I didn't say that right, but I'm just going to call her Joanna. Andrade is coming off a 3-fight win streak that includes a performance of the night submission over Joan Calderon, a knockout of the night against Jessica Pena, and a performance of the night win over Angela Hill in less than a year. It's hard to even recognize her as the fighter that was submitted by Raquel Pennington just 2 years ago. She's been on a tear. That being said, Joanna has been a truly dominant champion. I believe she gets more confident with every fight. It's really hard to beat a top-level fighter, much less a champion that's never tasted defeat. She's 13-0. Unlike Ronda Rousey, she's been tested in very deep waters. Her 5-round fight against Valerie Letourneau was a kind of war that tests your very soul. If you haven't seen that fight, look up Joanna versus Valerie Letourneau. Incredible fight. It's the kind of fight. It's like a boot camp. It breaks you down if you survive it. You come out a different animal. I think JoJo came out a different animal. I can't pick anyone against her right now. I think if anybody is going to beat her, it's Andrade. But I got to pick JoJo in this one to defend her belt by unanimous decision. I think this is an early candidate for Fight of the Year, though. That brings us to the Coupe De Gras, the huge heavyweight fight like we haven't seen in years. Stipe Miocic and Junior Dos Santos. We haven't seen anything like this since the Cain Velasquez Junior Dos Santos trilogy. And I would argue this is even kind of a different kind of animal because both these guys have a lot of power. I haven't forgot that they fought 2.5 years ago, if you're looking at this and thinking of that, but Stipe has got a lot more experience since then. He's not the same fighter he was 2.5 years ago, and I don't know if Junior is or not. I guess we're going to see. Every part of this fight points to a stand-up war. I don't see this really going to the ground. Both these guys have huge power, they have huge chins, and they have amazing takedown defenses. This is the fight the UFC needs right now to justify the $4 billion price tag. It's not Conor versus Mayweather. That fight's an embarrassment. I want to go on record to say that fight is an absolute embarrassment, and everyone's going to see that after the fight. Don't pay for that fight. Save your money. This is the fight that you want to see. This is all substance. Last time these guys fought, 2.5 years ago, JDS won a unanimous decision. It was fight of the night then. It's going to be better this time. JDS is coming off a 5-round unanimous decision over a tough Ben Rothwell. But he's only fought twice in the last 2 years, and he was knocked out by Alistair Overeem. He was injured in that fight, I will say, but that being said, he's still young, especially for a heavyweight. He's 33 years old. He's got power. He's got a tough chin. And he's one of the hardest hitters on earth, so don't ever count him out. Stipe is coming off a 4-fight win streak over a murderer's row of opponents. He knocked out Alistair Overeem, Fabricio Verdum, Andre Arlovski, and Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt's got an iron chin. He knocked him out. He has 2 performance of the nights and 1 fight of the night just since January of last year. He's been a super active champion. I just don't see how you can bet against him right now. Odds for the fight, I missed on that one. Stipe comes in a -140 favorite against JDS. +110 underdog. I got to take Stipe by a finish. I think he finishes JDS in the 5th round is going to be my prediction. I think it'll probably end up setting up a trilogy fight. Go back. I missed the odds on Jessica Andrade versus Joanna. Joanna's a -185 favorite. Jessica's +170 underdog. But I said this is the best card the UFC's put on in a long time. If you're going to continue to be a fight fan, these are the kind of fights that you want to watch. Not Mayweather and McGregor. Let those fools waste their money. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Mike Reviews It All. I hope to do some more of these UFC episodes. This was fun, and hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time. Enjoy the fights.